YouTube channel. Please place any questions that you have in the chat and we will respond to them at the end of the presentation. Also, at the end of the presentation, there is a survey that we would like for you to complete to help us improve. All right, so let's get started today. Our presentation today is what employers want, how to read a job description. Our learning objectives will be for you to be able to identify and explain the key sections of a job description, to distinguish between required and preferred qualifications, for you to be able to analyze the job description to identify keywords, potential red flags, and cultural indicators. So, why do job descriptions matter? A well-written job description tells you what the job really is. It informs you what's important in the role. It helps you determine what the employer's needs are. It hints at what the company expectations and culture are. It helps you tailor your resume and cover letter, which increases your chances of getting an interview, and it prepares you for the interview. It also helps you make an informed decision about whether the job is right for you so you can determine if you would even apply for the job. Now, what if you just skimmed a job description? You might risk missing some crucial details where you want to focus your resume and tell the employer what you have to offer. But if you haven't read that job description carefully and reviewed it carefully, then you might not include some information that you need to. It will also prolong your job search because you'll have to keep applying for jobs before you get one. And it might cause you to miss out on your dream job or applying for a job that may not be a good fit for you. How are job descriptions organized? Most job descriptions will include these sections: the job title and overview of the job, the company name and description, the responsibilities and duties, the qualifications, what the employer requires you to have as far as your qualifications. Some will include compensation and benefits, and some will hint at what the company culture is. So, details about these. The job title and overview will show the career level of the job, whether it's entry level or whether it's a junior or associate level, senior or manager. It will explain the core principles of the role, describe the position and how it fits into the rest of the company. What's the big picture view? And it often reveals who the role reports to. Now, it's important to focus on duties, the reporting structure, and the scope of the job instead of the job title. Because there are many jobs that can be called different things depending on who's creating the job description or what company is with. For example, a data analyst in one company may be called a business intelligence analyst, a data specialist, a reporting analyst, or operations analyst. If you aren't aware of other industry-specific job titles, one way to find out what some of those are is our Pathway U career assessment, which can help identify these. Responsibilities and duties are generally listed as bullet points showing the daily task from most important to least important. So the most important duties will be listed first. So it's likely if you don't like the first 3 responsibilities listed, you probably won't enjoy the job. It's also job responsibilities and duties are also listed by frequency. Throughout the job description, they may refer to certain things several times. The more it's listed, the more it's included in the job description, the more important it is. And the responsibilities and duties also, it tells you what you'll actually spend time doing in the job. It's important to note here, there is also a phrase, other duties as assigned, which is a common phrase in job descriptions that allow employers to require employees to perform tasks outside of their normal duties, giving them flexibility for unexpected or unforeseen needs, such as covering when an employee is out, handling related work, or special projects. Other duties as assigned should comprise no more than 5 to 10% of the job responsibilities. If it's more than that, it's an essential function of the job and should be included on the job description. All right, qualifications, required versus preferred. This is confusing a lot of times. The required qualifications are the must-haves. Usually these are education, degrees, certifications, years of experience, training, skills, certain software proficiency. Preferred qualifications, or you might also see them as nice to have, desired, additional qualifications, bonus qualifications, a plus. Those help you stand out from other candidates. Now, an example of this could be languages or proficiency in industry-specific tools. Be careful about this. If a posting states you must have Spanish fluency and you've had Spanish 101, that's a requirement you don't have. So you may not apply for that job. It's also important to note that you should focus on meeting the basic qualifications, not perfection. The ideal candidate may not exist. If you meet 60 to 70% of the requirements and you think you'll do well in the role, apply. You don't have to meet 100%. Now, the company culture is something you may have to read in between the lines to determine. Look for words like fast-paced, collaborative, work independently, opportunities for quick growth. Those may indicate opportunities for quick growth may indicate that the company has a high turnover rate. Fast-paced, rock star may indicate that you're going to face burnout. Someone who wears many hats may signal that there are unclear roles and vague responsibilities. Some company will mention their values. Some will mention teamwork or work style. You should highlight these and then bring them up during the interview to follow up on, ask questions about. Also beware of general terminology or fluff terminology, words or phrases like passion, commitment, team player. They don't tell you much about the job. So just be aware of those. Now, some logistics and practical details. A job description will likely include information also covering the job type, whether it's full-time, part-time, contract, whether it's an internship, temporary. It will include a location, whether it's remote, hybrid, in office. There are job boards that are location type specific that gives you that information if it's important to you. Many companies, well, not many, but some companies, a few, will list salary and benefits. Many companies have stopped listing that information, though, because employers are avoiding internal conflict. Companies make offers that are based on what the market rate is and individual skill sets. So depending on what you are bringing to the company, as opposed to all the employees making the same amount. Employers are avoiding external competition because companies don't hesitate to advertise their compensation packages because it makes them vulnerable to their competition. So if one company is paying this amount and this company knows you're paying that and they may pay a little more, that gives them an advantage. So they may lose out on candidates that way. So that's one. Those are reasons why companies don't always list their salary. If you find, though, that a company has not posted a salary range, do some research so you understand what the industry standards are and where you should fall based on your experience and qualifications. Keywords and red flags. Keywords are phrases in a job description that describe important job duties or requirements, skills, as well as attributes that will make you successful at the job. You should tailor your resume to match or include those keywords. If it's, like I said earlier, if it's a repeated skill or tool such as project management or Python, and you see that several times, you know you need to include that keyword in your resume. Red flags, vague language, unrealistic expectations. If the job description is short or vague and doesn't tell you much about the specific job requirements, or they request a resume without providing some specifics about the job you're applying for, that's a red flag. If there is an unclear reporting structure, who the job reports to, that shows a lack of accountability and direction. There may be some undefined goals, inconsistent feedback. You don't know who's going to be making the decisions. So that's a red flag. If the job description asks for payment up front, or for commission only jobs, if they require you to purchase inventory up front, that's a red flag. If it seems too good to be true, they're paying a high salary for little work, that's a definite red flag. And if they ask for personal information like your social security number, your date of birth, at this point in the process of the application process, that's too much information and that's a red flag. Now, one thing that we suggest is that you follow the instructions and do some research. The instructions about the application instructions. Some applications may require you to fill out your work history. Others may require you to upload your resume in a certain format. They may ask you to submit some additional documents with your resume. Some companies may give you a questionnaire to answer questions or give you an initial knowledge screening. Follow whatever instructions they give you carefully and exactly. Make sure you save a copy of the job description so that you can refer back to it later. When you're preparing for your interview, it's helpful to have that. Use the job description to research the company website, their social media platforms, find out what their values and culture are. You can use do the research to find that out. Now, websites like Glassdoor may be helpful, but you need to take what you read with a grain of salt. Usually, only those people who feel very strongly about something are going to take the time to write about them. So it may not be representative of the greater population. Now, some wrap ups and takeaways. Job descriptions are tools, not obstacles. Break them into sections. Use them to tailor your resume to the specific job. to avoid a bad job fit. The better you read a job description and refer back to it often during the application process, the better your chances of landing the right job. And finally, if a job description gives you a sense of dread or that something is not quite right, it's off, don't apply for that job. All right, that ends our presentation for today. Do we have any questions? Let me check the chat. I don't see any, but I'll give you a minute if you have any questions. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to tell you about our next Career Tip Tuesday on February 24th. All things references. Who to include as a reference, how to include them on as references. Okay, we've got a question in the chat. Okay, that's Debbie putting the survey there. All right. Here's our contact information for the Center for Career and Professional Development here at Greenville Tech. We're located in the Stat Center. That's building 122 in Suite 119. Our email address, our phone number are included. You can scan that QR code. And the survey again. I still don't see any questions in the chat. So thank you for joining us today for Career Tip Tuesday. And we hope, oh, wait a minute, and let me check again. Okay. Okay, that's all about. Okay. If you have any suggestions for topics for Career Tip Tuesday, let us know. Thank you for joining us today for Career Tip Tuesday, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks for all things references. Have a great day.
Hey, hey.
Hey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, everybody's going. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Verlinda. How are you feeling?
Okay.
Well, we had three. I'm wondering if, because, we found out last time that when we had like, I don't know, like 8, 12, something like that, it was near the end of the semester. And that's when I found out that the COL courses kind of advertise this and tell students about it. So I'm wondering if that's like a last ditch effort to get some credit for some of those
Great. Oh,
students.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but hey, we just gonna keep moving and rolling and hope it picks up. But hey, we put out a resource. Any thoughts, comments, suggestions?
Yeah, one of them people just signed on like at 2 minutes left.
I saw that. I I let her in because I was like, hey, it's a number. That's all I can. I'm not being recorded, am I? Okay. That's what I kind of care about. And she may go back for all we know to look